we got a message from someone that says, hey, you may want to check out chapter 3, module 4. Chris is screaming and freaking out in the thing. I'm like, what? And it's like, no. And we looked, and sure enough, there's me just losing my absolute shit. It did not get edited out. And
like,
so
the universe is like, this is not a lie.
This is not a lie. They were screaming at me.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
Welcome to the Chris Harder Show. Specifically, I should say welcome back to another one of the roundtable entrepreneur discussions, where I invite some of my favorite entrepreneurs in to discuss current events, best practices, some of your failures, and everything in between. And today I'm really excited because we have women in the house, actually, for once.
Hey, wait.
We had Natalie Jill once.
Yeah.
But then we got real male heavy. We got real male heavy. Exactly. It's been Justin and I for every one of them so far. So you guys definitely bring a lot of value and another perspective that is much needed for sure. It got a little dude heavy last time. It got a little. What's that? Yeah, your hair. You got some good female hair there. Yeah. So anyhow, we're going to go through everything today, from TikTok to how you dress matter, to the back to work mandate, everything. And actually,
everybody looks at me.
And we all look at Justin.
How you dress matters. Here's
Let's start
disheveled one over here in the corner.
Let's start there, actually, because when you look at the two, you and I, we dress so simply. I'm always a t-shirt. You're always something like that.
Yeah.
And when I look at the two of you and your brands, and I would say Lori, my wife, the same thing. Mm-hmm. You guys are always dressed to the nines, and you look fantastic, and you've made it a part of your brand. So I want to start by having the two of you weigh in on this. Does how you dress matter? Better yet, does it move the needle for you?
100%. Yes. And when you say always, Chris, that's very generous. There is a thing called troll mode. Yes. It's when you look like a troll who lives under a bridge and tells riddles, because it's not sustainable for me to dress up like this all the time. But in the moments when I want to show up, when I want to be in my peak energy, I notice a distinct difference. When I put intention into what I wear, when I even choose what I wear based on like which thing in my closet am I kind of drawn toward? I can actually kind of like picture myself in it and imagine the energy that I'm embodying. So it's become synonymous even with the event that I host. It's become this place where women know it's safe to show up as their most self-expressed version. And I think for me, and every person is different, for the kind of work that I do, the energy that I embody is everything. And self-expression and creativity is a big part of me tapping into that creative zone. And I find by experimenting that the way I dress has a huge impact on that.
Does it have an impact on how it inspires people to want to show up better, or does it just make you show up better?
I think it does. I think if I notice the way that I interact with, what doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, we've all been in rooms where someone walks in and you notice them.
Yeah.
It's not so much what they're wearing. It has nothing to do with the clothes themselves. It's the energy that they embody. For me, the clothes that I wear help me connect with that energy.
Yeah.
And long before I knew you and Lori, I had this story about myself. I called myself the vanilla sister because I have this younger sister.
I did not know this.
Who's really just self-expressed. She's had every color, hair under the sun. She could walk into a Goodwill and come out looking like a supermodel, put together the weirdest outfit, and just rock it.
Gosh, aren't people with that kind of vibe like annoying? They just put anything on. It's like, you just look so good
just
all the time.
So annoying, right? And the truth is, it inspired me, but I would use this, I would kind of be putting myself down by saying, I'm the vanilla sister. So it was when my book was about to come out in 2017, and I heard myself say it. And it was the first time that I paused and I said, I don't want to be that anymore. So I did what I do with any area of my life I want to improve. I hired a style mentor.
Wow.
And I mean, everything from, this was someone who I gave full creative control to push me out of my comfort zone. I gave away 75% of my closet.
Wow.
I went from long, like almost black, dark hair to, there's been a couple transitions now, but it pushed me so far outside of my comfort zone. And then the way I saw myself shifted. So I do believe I don't know how woo you like to get on this podcast. I think there's like an energy to the way that we observe ourselves that shifts the way we show up in a room, that changes the way people respond to us.
It's incredible. Kat, what about you? How's it for you?
I totally agree. And it's really you showing up as your highest self when you feel your best. And you've always been like an icon for that for me, like, especially when you know you're going into a room where people are like feeling and looking their best. Yeah. For me too, though, I've also got a little ROI on this because I bought this. So it's an example with Mike. So I bought this dress from Alison Olivier and it was like a $400 dress. And my mom and everyone was getting on me like, why do you spend so much money on all these clothes? And I was like, watch this shit. And I put it on my Instagram story in this outfit. Mm-hmm. And the amount of comments I got because of my outfit pushed that story through the algorithm. I'm getting like $8 ahead per the webinar registrants. I was able to back into the numbers and I made $8,000 off the story with the $400 dress.
Because of how you dressed caused the story to be more viral.
Exactly. Everyone was like, wow, like, because even people that weren't registering, they were pushing it through because they were DMing me being like, amazing outfit. And the algorithm's like, ooh, people like this story. So then it got shown to all these people who would actually register.
And so you caught their attention with the style, and then they stuck around to actually hear the message because the story had enough clicks, likes, shares, everything to get it to go viral. This happens to Lori all the time.
Yeah.
And it happens to the two of us. When we take pictures from like when we did dinner series and I'm dressed up and that kind of thing, those posts go absolutely bananas in the algorithm. When it's just regular, how I normally show up like this, it gets no lift whatsoever. Same with Lori. She'll do what you did. She'll say, watch this. And she'll purposely put on a great outfit and film some content. And those things get more comments on where'd you get your hat? Where'd you get your dress? Where'd you get this? And those help the algorithm, right? So it's kind of a hack.
Yeah, totally.
So then what about the two of us though?
I feel it's you talked about like showing up energy for your highest self. I'm like literally the opposite. If you ask me to dress up, I'm like, oh,
me too. I don't feel confident when I have to dress up.
I don't know, maybe something's wrong with me. I don't want to show up in a room and everybody be like, whoa, look at him.
That. Yeah.
I kind of like would rather just kind of walk in, talk to people, meet people, and then like not be, and I'm not saying there's like a good or a bad to any of that. Yeah. It's just like, it's interesting when you mentioned like energy to show up as your best self. Mm-hmm. I do not feel like my best self when somebody forces me to dress up.
When I have to wear a full suit, like when I get fully suited up I know out of one side of my mouth, I just said those are the posts that do the best. But me, how I feel, I don't show up feeling as confident and as comfortable as I do when I show up in just my t-shirts and other things that I feel like fit me well and are who I am. Yeah. So it's so interesting that you guys show up better when you're dressed in the nines. I mentally show up better when I'm just dressed like this. Yeah. Sounds like you mentally show up better when you're just dressed like that.
I also think probably your environment that you are normally in is like, I'm in tech land, right? Yeah. So like if I show up in a suit, people think things are wrong. Like, why is he not wearing a hoodie? Like, what happened? You know, there's like weird flexes in tech land, like uncased iPhones and stuff like that, which are like just subtle little things, you know, like I don't care if I break this thing, I'll just have somebody else bring me another one, things like that. But dress code is definitely not one of those.
I definitely think it's industry specific.
Totally.
Here's a question though. Does it matter the quality of the fabrics?
For sure.
Because you can wear a hoodie
that is true
that lowers your vibe. You can wear a hoodie that elevates it. Because I notice even elevating my athleisure, investing in fabrics that feel good changes how I feel. So again, it's not the clothes, it's the new, I think it's the energetics of the
clothes. Shelly did that to me actually.
She got you stuff
she got me and she like made me go buy like cashmere hoodies and stuff. Like she's like, you don't need to give up your hoodies. You don't need to just like, maybe we just get rid of the blazers for like some Cole Haans. You can keep wearing some joggers and then put a cashmere hoodie on. And what's funny is you're right. I'd like, first time I put on that outfit, I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking awesome.
Nice. Shout out to Shelly Carlson, by the way.
Awesome. And I feel comfortable and I still feel like myself, and basically.
Lori did this for me. So what you're saying makes sense. She bought me 2 of these blazers that have built-in like zipper hoodies, literally stitched in underneath. So it looks kind of dressy, but it feels kind of casual. And I wear those two things more than anything else. When she's like, hey, look nice for dinner, look nice for this event. I throw those on because I still feel like I'm in something comfortable, but it counts as a sport coat, or at least sure as hell looks like one.
Yeah, totally. Your highest self doesn't have to be formal wear too. Your highest self is you just aligning with the clothing that makes you feel the best.
Yeah.
So in your environment, if wearing like more of athleisure is what makes you feel your best, that is your highest self. Yeah. That is you showing up confidently.
What do they call, and I'm going to get canceled for this, but I don't care because it's a real thing.
You can't get
what do they call
anymore.
Pretty privilege? That's a thing, right?
Yes.
So I want to be crystal clear here. I'm not saying you have to be like drop dead gorgeous to have that advantage, but when you dress nicer, this is one thing that you can't dispute. When you dress nicer, when you look nicer, when you walk in and you turn a couple of heads, you have the natural advantage of gaining an extra foot in the door, gaining an extra 30 seconds of someone's attention, gaining, someone's going to listen to your sales pitch for 30 seconds longer. And that's sometimes all it takes to before listening to someone who looks schleppy or they don't have that advantage. So
there's lots of studies on that. Like good looking salespeople sell more things than not, I guess, good looking salespeople, right? Like we're sort of attracted to beauty as humankind, so there is a draw there for sure.
Taller people sell more things too. So you
listen here. That's why I'm on Zoom all the time. And I show up in person. My first thing when I meet somebody is go, I'm shorter than you thought I was. I understand. Let's just get this out of the way now.
I think it just comes down to like someone took the time and felt the importance to make themselves their best selves for you. So it doesn't even for me matter on looks. It's more so like if someone showed up in like that outfit where I could tell they're just like in it and they love how they look, like I'm attracted to that energy and I want to talk to them. I want to know what they're doing, So it's more so like someone went through the effort to like be themselves for the event.
Well, I'm struggling through feeling like a homeless person next to you guys and trying to get comfortable in the corner of this homeless person.
No, we just call this troll mode.
That's
I'm in
tomorrow.
constant troll mode.
Yeah. Don't you have sweatshirts that when you flip up the hood, it says troll mode?
Yes.
It's like become a thing for you guys.
Yes.
That's awesome. Your brand really has become synonymous with fashion. And I know this. It inspires people. It gets more clicks. It buys you an extra 30 seconds for your sales pitch. So I think that's kind of the rebuttal on that. It is worth investing the time and money into doing, even though you and I don't really do it. Hey, listen, before we move on to our next topic, I want you guys to introduce yourselves. You are three of my favorite human beings. I'd absolutely love talking business with you guys. Justin Benson, founder of Barra Agency and Barra AI. Give the 30-second spiel on yourself.
And Shiloh now.
And Shiloh. Big one. We can't leave Shiloh out. This is a big one.
That's the big one.
You just got a big, I won't say anything, but a big fat offer on that company that you turned down.
Yeah.
Congrats on still being broke. Just kidding.
Still broke? No, we're doing great. I'm resident AI tech nerd, so I love like what makes me tick at the end of the day. I was talking to Faith about this last night, actually. I like hitting revenue numbers or like getting to speak on some stage or whatever. It honestly doesn't excite me at all. But like last week, I came out with this like AI feature that solved all these TCPA compliance for all of these organizations where, well, now it didn't happen, but like it was going to happen where the TCPA laws were going to get more strict. In watching the like stress and anxiety in people's faces decrease and how thankful they were for that thing that we built, that's like what makes me happy. Like if I could find, if somebody would buy Shiloh tomorrow and say, hey, guess what? After we buy you, what's going to happen is we're going to give you like hundreds of millions of dollars to like create
keep innovating.
Sit in a cave with like your friends and just keep making stuff like that. There is no happier place for me. So that's what I do daily through Bar Agency and through Shiloh. Is like we do that for companies through Bar Agency, and then we do it for the real estate, mortgage, and what's the other one? Title industries with Shiloh with the sales grading, like sales manager AI that we created.
I love it. You guys are crushing it. Kat Norton, founder of Miss Excel. Now, this is crazy. I knew of your brand long before I met you at Lori's house, my house, our house, whatever it was, when you came for an interview, over a year ago.
Yeah.
Because your brand is so freaking massive. And I actually found you because somebody said, look at this chick. She only talks about Excel and she has millions and millions of followers just talking about Excel tips. And I was like mind blown that you've taken something that somebody might label as kind of dry and made it freaking viral to the point where you have millions and millions and millions of followers. So what's your 30-second spiel on yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Kat Norton, founder of Miss Excel, and I make Microsoft Excel fun.
You do?
And that's a big part of our brand. We teach to individuals and corporations all the Microsoft Office products and Google Sheets. And really my goal is to just try to stay as cutting edge as I can when it comes to leveraging technology to make education cool and fun, whether it's, putting myself in different worlds built out of spreadsheets through AI in different outfits and just creating learning experiences versus the traditional boring way of learning.
It's so cool what you've done, taking, again, a subject matter that other people wouldn't know. How do I do anything with this? How do I produce content around this? And making it viral. There's a lesson there that we're going to dig into later for everybody.
Oh, wait, really quick. How did you get passionate about? So I'm a data person. So we just met today, but like you're my people. How did you get I'm passionate about Excel? Like where the heck
enough to
did
go
that
all
come
in?
From?
That's a good question.
It's not a passionate topic.
Yeah, it was really during my MBA program that I dug into it and was like, okay, I'm pretty good at this shit.
Yeah.
Went into corporate and nobody knew how to use Excel correctly. So I just on the side as a new consultant was like taking little notes of like, this person needs help with this. And I was benched one week in the consulting world, not on a client. And I built out a training internally for the company. And someone looked over my shoulder, was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just want to help the company. And they were like, you got to show someone that. So they pitched me to the managing directors and had me flying around the US hosting Excel trainings on the side of my day job.
So epic.
So then with the pandemic, I was back at home in my parents' house, buried in student debt, was like, how can I make some money with this? How can I help more people? And put it on TikTok. It went viral. It wasn't on TikTok before.
What was the first one that went viral?
So the first one was the left and find function to the song Level Up. That was the first one that got us our first 100K followers.
See, I don't even know what a left and find function is.
It's a nice little function combination that people get mad that you didn't use other things, and that creates the polarity in the content.
Look at these two nerding out right now.
Exactly. You gotta give them a little bit.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta piss off the trolls a little bit.
You gotta give them a little, be like, use flash fill already.
The fact that you guys get so excited over this is scary and awesome.
I didn't understand any of those words.
Last but certainly not least, you're a sister to me. You're family to Lori and I. One of our best friends in the world, Lindsey Schwarts, founder of Powerhouse Women. Give your spiel.
Powerhouse Women really was created because I was looking for that community that would normalize the size of my ambition. The thing we share in common from the Midwest didn't come from a place that necessarily had a lot of examples for what was possible if you had really, really big dreams. So
a couple of Green Bayites right here.
Yeah, that's right. Just grew up in the shadows of Lambeau Field. And then also normalizing the challenges. I think we can't just over glamorize the wins. We have to create spaces where people feel safe to be the most ambitious version of themselves, the most self-expressed, but also to be real. This shit is hard sometimes. It's really hard. So we do that through live events. We have a podcast, and really the way I look at it, I attract a lot of entrepreneurs, really ambitious women. And I think it's because entrepreneurship is really a personal growth journey disguised as a financial opportunity. Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun.
It's true.
Yeah.
You remember David Wood? I don't know if you're around.
Yes.
In Isa Jackson.
Train the Trainer?
Yeah. He's like, this business is just a what do you say? A compensation plan that pays you to learn how to grow yourself or something. It's so true. That's what entrepreneurship is. It's nuts. You get paid along the way to torture yourself and get your face smashed against the curb about 35 times until one day it goes well and you end up with a couple pennies to rub together. That's entrepreneurship in a nutshell.
Yeah. Lots of crying in the car.
A lot of crying
in the car.
Dude, I've cried over business.
Oh, so have I.
Yeah. Have you guys ever cried over business?
This week.
Yes.
Did you say you haven't?
No.
Oh!
Okay, so usually my response to that is give it time.
I'm still a baby.
Don't manifest it for
me. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's I don't want to say that.
I'm still only a few years deep. But
don't manifest it for me. Let's start with your business. And I want to get into current events. I want to talk about TikTok.
Yeah.
They were just extended for 75 days when Trump got into office. The whole world was like, yay, but also that's just 75 days. It was responsible for you going viral. So I want to hear from all of you, but I want to start with you, Kat. Should it be banned? Should it stick around? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't think it should be banned. I think, if security is an issue, that's something they should definitely look at. But I mean, also from us and our perspective as a business, and I know a lot of other creators feel this way, TikTok is one of the hardest ones to monetize. Mm-hmm. So if TikTok went away, my business would not change at all.
Interesting.
It's
what about the huge audience you have there? You can't monetize them?
Yeah.
It's a vanity number. It's really easy to go viral. And for me, it's I adore it because it is where my roots are with the business and the story. And I had my assistant screenshot all the things before we thought it was going down, just have the memories. But for me, like we've tracked, where our leads come from, where our ads like perform the best and everything. And TikTok has always been the lowest for us. And Instagram has been where it's been at.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I loosely knew that it's hard to convert a customer on TikTok, but you've got the data to back up. You have 1.1 million on Instagram. I saw you've got about 1 million on TikTok.
Yep.
So you could call them 2 equal audiences. What percentage more would you say your earnings come from Instagram versus TikTok?
I mean, Instagram has to be at least 10x TikTok.
What?
Like it's because you can't promote anything on TikTok. They won't push it in the algorithm. I'll have millions of like followers or views normally, and then it'll get like 5,000 views. If it has anything even slightly promotional, where like Instagram with stories and things, we could get things through the algorithm a lot better. So it's really hard to just promote things for free. And then we've also run ads on TikTok, and it's been just not.
Well, the founder of TikTok, like his initial premise when he was seeking funding was, okay, I have this really great piece of content. If I put it on Instagram and I don't have any followers,
goes nowhere.
It goes nowhere.
Yeah.
It's a dead end right there.
Yep.
So his premise was, even if you don't have any followers, we will always share that one post with at least one other person.
And see if they
And
like it.
based on what happens with that interaction, the algorithm might show it to more people and more people and more people. But to your point, their fallacy in that is that it doesn't drive continued viewership. It creates these flash in the pan situations. It's what ends up happening.
Yeah. And it's usually like a random piece of content too half the time that like, luckily ours are very niche down. So like they do tie back to the theme, but I've seen so many just like people have a random video go viral and then they click their page and it doesn't even convert because it's talking about something random.
Totally.
As someone who sells courses in education, is there no way to monetize that through TikTok Shop? Does it have to be a physical product? Because guys, I have bought, first of all, how many of you bought something from TikTok Shop?
I've never downloaded TikTok.
What?
No, I'm like, I don't even have, I think I had posted one video.
I'm embarrassed.
I didn't in 2020.
I'm embarrassed to say how many things I have bought from TikTok Shop. And dumb things like end of the world flashlights and like the solar charger for your phones. And
I do that on
generator.
Instagram all the time.
I mean, yes.
I buy everything from there. I'm a sucker for it.
It makes it
and
too
TikTok
easy.
Shop for products is like popping off.
Yeah.
So those of us that sell courses or events and that kind of thing, is there no way to make that translate in TikTok Shop?
I haven't seen that done in TikTok Shop. I don't know if you guys have.
No?
Yeah, I haven't seen it with the digital yet. But I mean, if it did, that would be nice.
So my wife has TikTok. That's my exposure to it. Honestly, I read the privacy policy and the terms of service on that thing, and I was like, that is horseshit. Yeah. No. And the fact that that's going to like the Chinese government, no, thank you.
Are you the only guy that reads terms and policies?
I was going to say
that.
I don't. Just like, agreed.
I wanted to see what the policy privacy was because like I already knew that Meta's is pretty terrible as far as data collection and things like that, and how long they store things and what they do with our data. TikTok's was that on steroids, honestly. Yeah. So I looked at that and I was like, why am I going to surrender all that information? Like, you guys have audiences. Like, that's the way that you guys build businesses and stuff. That's literally, I got like 2,000 followers on Instagram. I'm the least famous person always whenever I'm around Chris. So it's just not how I do things, right? Yeah. So when I look at things like that, I go like, why am I going to like give them my information when like I don't make a living off of it? I don't do any of that. I'm not even going to try it, you know?
Okay, am I naive? Because here's what I think when I hear that. I don't care if they see what I look like look at on TikTok. I'm not looking at anything nefarious. I'm not building bombs. I'm not doing something stupid. I don't give a shit what they're tracking. And I always feel like only people that are up to something scary.
Really honest.
Yeah. Seriously, I feel like only people that are up to something scary are the ones that are like, don't watch what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Am I naive in thinking that?
I feel that way about American products. Like, I don't care if Alexa's giving my conversations to the NSA. I literally do not care at all. The patriot in me is like, what I don't want to do is contribute to the fact that a foreign government that we're kind of, whether you admit it or not, we are at war with via proxy, is getting the location data of everybody that exists in the United States right now. Their trends, where they visit, where they go grocery shopping, where their kids go to school. They're storing all of that data. Like, that's a total issue for national security. So I was unwilling, knowing where that data was going to go to and what they do with the data on that side of things is I just, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean enough for me. I couldn't monetize it. I'm not going to try to go TikTok famous or anything like that.
Now I feel bad for watching so much TikTok. I want to kind of shift this a little bit because it sounds like TikTok will have no impact on you and your business now.
Well, and I took the route more of focusing on one platform, not having the team bandwidth to be present on multiple platforms. And we just haven't gotten there yet where it makes sense to devote time and energy. Plus I'm like an elder millennial. So
yeah,
I send my sister Instagram reels. She's 7 years younger. She sends me TikToks back.
Yeah.
That's like how we communicate.
Yeah, exactly. I swear my wife and I communicate more through memes and reels than we do anything else.
Listen, it's amazing. How did we communicate before that?
Sock puppets, and we communicate through our sheepadoodles before make them
talk.
Talk
Puppets?
Yeah, it's a type of therapy.
Let's pull the curtain back on that.
It's a type of therapy. I mean, we didn't literally do sock puppet therapy, but we would pretend. I'm
you and Lori like sitting on opposite sides of the rooms talking.
Wow, you're being a real bitch today. And you can say it if it's the sock puppet or if it's your golden doodle. You can. You really can. Ask Lori. She's admitted this. And she's like, Dad, why are you being such a prick today? Like, if you say it to your sheepadoodle, you're not really saying it to the other person, but it helps.
Sheepadoodle?
Yeah, our dogs. So it helps you like say things you want to say without getting in trouble for them. Yeah. Maybe that's unhealthy. Listen, I think it works for us.
20-year marriage. Who are we to say that?
20 years of evidence that works.
Sock puppets where it's at.
So the adjacent to this is audience size, because
the mental picture in my brain of Chris and Lori on opposite sides of the house having a fight.
Sock puppet sex. Sock puppet sex is where it gets weird.
Well, okay. Well,
you gotta try it with faith, man. You gotta try it with faith.
Yeah,
okay,
probably not.
I want to get to audience size. Massive audience. Pretty good audience, but you've always been famous for outselling your audience. No audience. And I'd say I'm medium audience. Mm-hmm. Is business easier to build if you have a big audience, or is it not necessary? It's just a perk.
Personal brand helps open doors 1,000%.
In what way? Especially for someone like you and you're selling tech, how does it help you?
It creates opportunities. Like if you want to invest in more things, it creates more deal flows. There is good to be found in building an audience and building influence in that way, right? It's just not what I want to do. Every time I've tried to do it, like somebody's convinced me, like, you need to build a personal brand. I'm like, I try for a little bit. I'm like, no, I'm not passionate about this and I don't care about it. The closest thing that anybody's gotten me to it was Feemster, when he was like, it's your fiduciary obligation to your company to like actually get out there and speak. Mm-hmm. So that got me to go, okay, then go freaking get speaking engagements and stuff like that. Start a podcast. I actually enjoy that stuff, right? But like building a personal brand, every time I try to do it, I'm like, I just can't dedicate the time and attention to it. And I just don't care about it, honestly. Mm-hmm. So my power and influence comes from the connection in the rooms that I'm in, the ability to call the people that I know.
Borrowing other people's audience.
Make things happen, like, okay, I can call that person that's the CEO of that big company that you know, because I'm connected with them. We can have a conversation. We can get some stuff done, right? I honestly would rather create influence and opportunity for other people while staying as anonymous as I possibly can.
Yeah. There's real value in what you're saying. Yeah. Because not everybody, I don't know if you caught yourself thinking, but you're like, I don't want to put the effort into building a personal brand. And it's a lot of effort. Like it's a lot
of effort.
Right. Yeah. And it's even expensive to do. It's more expensive than people expect. So I like what you said, where if you're not the person that wants to put the effort into doing it, or if it doesn't come naturally, put yourself in the rooms where the audiences are so you can borrow their audiences. Yeah. You're not just dead in the water because you didn't bother to build one.
No.
What are your takes on this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for us, like our audience is a massive asset, and more so not the social audience, the mailing list that came from the social audience. So that obviously for us is like a huge source of revenue. But I also say I'm like the least influencer. Like I do
your
not.
Million followers. Yeah. Whatever.
I don't know, but like all we have is how-to content. And like, I don't do stories. The only time I do stories is if we're promoting something, and I'll have to like do a story about my day and like link it to what we're promoting, but that's it. Like I'm never doing like videos, sharing stuff like, I like to hide in my house in Sedona and like live my life. And then at the same time, cause I have the data nerd in me too, where I still like a huge part of me likes that, and to just, get in with my spreadsheets. But then at the same time, like I do recognize like that is a massive traffic funnel for us. And for us too, it's then like that opened the door for us to partner with other different affiliates and other, entrepreneurs and influencers and their audiences, which also feed into our audience. So it's been important.
What's your take?
I mean, my stance is, I think number one, it has to be aligned. I think we all know that if it's an audience that's huge, but it isn't comprised of people who want to buy from you, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think here's what I'll say. I've kind of leveraged this. I've always had a small audience size, and I really know how to cultivate community within it. I see audience and community as two different things. When I'm building an audience, I'm really answering the question for myself, how do I get more people to want to connect with me as a brand? I just have built a really successful business where I don't need as big of an audience because I go a level deeper and I ask, now how do I get more of those people to connect with each other?
Community.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I fill 40-person retreats at $7,000 each. And I sent like 3 emails. They all sell each other and tell their friends. I, have a live event in August that had 800 people in the room. We grew from 600 to 800 people year over year. And just because of some personal things, I didn't show my face on social media from March until August last year. Yeah. So the community is the part that can have a life of its own, even when you want to scale back or when life has you scale back. So I'm going to also kind of be my own devil's advocate. I think I hide behind that. I think it is time as I come out of this season of kind of just wanting to pull back a little bit and do some more personal healing work. I think I hide behind like, oh, I have a small audience. Yeah. So I think it can become also the thing that what I'm really saying is I have been resistant to more visibility.
Did you ever use it as a way to be relatable? Like a crutch? Like, oh, don't worry, sister, you can relate to me. I do this with a smaller audience. Like, was it a relatability leverage tool?
I think a little bit. And then I think also the fear of being seen. And that's a lot of of course I would have to transform that because I help a lot of people transform it. So it's nuanced, but I also do love that my story from the beginning started with a really small audience because no one can ever tell me my audience is too small. Just that doesn't work for me because I can show you evidence.
Meaning that your clients can't use it as an excuse because you say, oh yeah, look where I started.
Right. And I don't run ads, no ads.
You could argue that like your impact per capita basically would be higher because of that. Because like creating an audience is one thing. You could spend a lot of money and like go get an audience if you wanted to. Like homes.com just did that. Like they just spent billions of dollars to go get an audience. But like to create a community is something special. Like how do you think you made that journey from like, okay, I have an audience to like now I actually built community? Because that's the hard thing to do. But that connection is what people are actually looking for.
And even as we were talking earlier, I'll answer that question in a second, thinking about the impact of AI and technology. I know that I've built the thing that technology can never duplicate. You can't duplicate the feeling of connection that happens in these rooms. I actually think as technology becomes more of our everyday life, spaces that make us feel a sense of belonging and connection are going to be even more important. So it started because I just knew I had to think differently. I never saw a small audience as a problem. I just knew that I had to leverage what I had. So starting with the very first event, I didn't think, how do I put 100 women in a room? I made a list. Okay, who are 20 women who I know that probably all know 5 friends? And like, it sounds like a network marketing model, but that was my background. So I understood that if I could really have people feel a buy-in, that this isn't Lindsey's community. You look at even our webpage, our social media, it's not pictures of me. It's pictures of the community. Women can see people who represent them, and then they feel the connection. They come to an event. Within 5 minutes, they've met a new friend. I think part of it was intuitive. Part of it is just really a gift. I have a gift for connecting people, but understanding that there was a real ROI to focusing on that as the long play, not the quick overnight. I can dump some money into ads and grow an audience, but not have any real connection. It was so worth it to spend 7 years building the foundation of this true community, because now that I understand the nuances of how to keep people connected, I can turn on the faucet and attract more people. I always say it like this. So like, imagine you go to a party, and this is in my mind, the analogy for, getting a big audience, a lot of eyeballs on you, but you haven't actually built the foundation of community for a business like mine. You go to a party, there's no one there. You walk in, there's no like low vibe music, no snacks. There's one weird guy in the corner, like having a dance party by himself. It's Justin. Spoiler alert. Yep. And, if I'm a new audience member, I walk in, I'm like, there's no energy here. Do I even belong? No snacks? Like, I'm out of here. Versus you walk into a room, even if it's an intimate group of people, and there's great energy and you feel welcomed, and there's something that draws you to it. Now, as a cold audience member, I'm coming and there's a reason for me to stay. Now, I think, again, I can amp things up and start to bring more of that cold traffic in, because and it's never even really cold traffic, because now it's coming through actual referrals of friends who are like, you're going to love it in this room. You've got to be here.
Because an audience probably doesn't create referrals, but a community does.
Yeah.
in the way I define it.
Interesting, like the Instagram versus TikTok thing that we were just talking about,
that's
right?
true,
like,
yeah.
On TikTok, very fast to build an audience, but like you have no followers. This video that just went viral, like they don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't stick. It doesn't go.
It's not community,
right? But it's on Instagram, you have to like painstakingly follower by follower, just
burn them and keep them.
This and make sure that they don't unfollow you. Continue to show up. Basically, like it forces you to focus on that, opposed to TikTok does not force you to do that. It doesn't even incentivize it, honestly.
Totally.
And even more, a community-focused social media approach. I haven't done it on TikTok, but what we do on Instagram is we turn the comment section into a reason for people to connect with each other. So if they're like, listen, Powerhouse Women is like, if I ever need a resource for my business, or if I want to just connect with people who remind me like, oh, I'm not alone in this, I go to that account. It's thinking through content through the lens of how does this content get people talking to each other, where we just become the place where people know they can find like-minded people like them.
It's an intermediary. I mean, it's just like the mastermind, you know, like all of the power of the mastermind is curation on the front end. And then you just get out of the way.
So you got to get the right people together in the room under the right structure. Those 40 people can create absolute miracles together. You don't need 400 or 4,000 or 40,000.
No.
40 people can literally make or break everything you need for that year.
Yeah.
The thing that I want to take away from this is, you know, massive audience, smaller audiences. What matters most is this concept that you brought up of community over audience. And I loved your analogy. TikTok, it's just a great big audience. Whereas Instagram, you cultivate a community. They know why they're following you. They know why they resonate with you. And that's why I think it creates more sales. So community over.
Totally agree.
So here's a good segue into something I've been curious about. And here's why I'm been curious. I'm just finishing up enrolling the mastermind right now. And it's all high performers in there, right? So it's people that should probably not have concerns around competition or scarcity, but we all get tripped up in it. And this year, for the first time ever, when I'm doing all the interviews of potential members, twice, I've never had this before, twice, individuals have asked me, well, my biggest concern is going in there and sharing my best practices when somebody else in there also has a med spa, or when somebody else in there also has a social media agency. They're afraid of sharing their secret sauce, and they're afraid of sharing their audience. So kind of sticking to this audience thing, I've always said collaboration is the shortcut. I'm not afraid if my competitors want to buy things from or sell things to my audience, vice versa. What are your guys' takes on this?
I fully agree with that. We actually built out an affiliate program where we would take people who would potentially become our competitors who already like on paper would be. And we created a sick program for them where they get a 50-50 cut of any sales we do. So seeing that play out has been incredible, because there's an account, her name's Emma, Excel Dictionary. I absolutely adore her.
Wait, what's it called?
Excel Dictionary.
Okay.
And
could have been a competitor. Right?
Could have. Oh, yeah. She has
is.
courses too. Yeah. And she has like 8 million followers. And we became such close friends and started working together and doing co-webinars where I would teach the lesson. She'd come say hi in the beginning. And then we would sell a package of my courses with her course there as the gift with purchase. And we have seen tremendous results from doing that. And literally, like, I just got invited to her wedding. Like, we got really close through this. And something too, the way I really look at competition is like, I don't really view anybody as my competition. I view them as an expander for my subconscious.
In what way?
So basically, if I look at someone who has something that I want, I don't look and say, oh no, they have it. That means I can't. I look at it as like, how can I use this situation and find something in common with this person that will show my subconscious mind that we manifest everything from, that I can have that too. So I actually try to like learn from my competitors, befriend my competitors. And we literally like, I'm going to get on and like show them all our data and like how we write our sales copy, because we're all going toward the same goal here. So that's something for us, like has probably doubled our business, is working with our affiliates who would be our competitors.
It's amazing. There's a reason, I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but being a car lover, I have car dealerships, even though they're competitors, put all themselves on the same street. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Like one stretch of that street will be every single car brand. You're like, why would you build next to your competitor? Because there's a greater lift when you take everyone who's looking for a car and bring them to an area instead of hoping they come to your one remote dealership way out. And this is the same thing. Why not invite your would-be competitors in, learn from each other, and their audience also wants to buy your thing and also wants to buy your thing and also wants to buy your thing. One more analogy I would give is, I heard this a long time ago, but the person that bought Jack Canfield's chicken soup for the Soul Book.
Yeah.
He didn't say, oh, I don't want them to find out about Tony Robbins. I don't want them to find out about Oprah. I don't want.
Right.
They shared audiences because people are junkies. And I mean this in a good way. They want Jack's book and they want Oprah's book and they can't get enough. So they want Tony's book and they want everyone else's book.
Yeah.
And people are the same way, whether it's Excel. Yeah. They're junkies. They want to know, how do I do this for this subject? How do I do it for that subject, for that subject? Even like 6-figure school. I know there's a lot of other 6-figure course names and all that out there. People will buy them all. They don't just buy one.
So true.
I also wasn't being rude. I was just looking up on Twitter, like Y Combinator tweeted earlier today, X'd, I don't know what the hell we call it anymore. X'd it. That basically like so many startups focus on competition. They get hyper fixated when the stats show that the more likely reason for you to fail will be you not finding product market fit, basically like not having the solution for your audience, right? Founders burning out or co-founders breaking up with each other.
Yeah.
There's a higher probability of those things happening to you than competition taking you out, honestly.
Because there's enough to go around.
Yeah, because there's enough to go around in almost every market, right?
So, unless you're a multi-billion-dollar company where you're taking a huge chunk of a market share.
Yeah.
And there's only 3 or 4 competitors. Unless you're that, which none of us are.
Yeah.
There's more than enough to go around.
No, Realtor.com and Zillow do a bunch of stuff together.
Interesting.
Yeah. They're not enemies.
No. It's smarter to do it together.
Yeah.
Because that customer wants both.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's really about making an opportunity too. That's a win-win. Like that was something I looked at when I'm like, okay, like, cause after I made my Excel TikTok, there became 40 other Excel creators. Microsoft actually built a community around us because there were so many of us. And now there's creators in all the different things. And I was like, how can I create more of a win-win situation? Cause a lot of these people have huge audiences. They're at their day jobs and they're not making courses right now. So I was like, how can I create a situation where they can actually leave their day jobs with the commissions they're making with us and they don't have to do the work of building courses, yet they'll get 50% of all the course sales they bring in.
Free money.
Yeah, because it pisses me off that like a lot of creators don't make money and they have other like niches and stuff we work with and like finance and business and all different things. A lot of them don't either have the resources or their audience just doesn't convert well for their topic. So we've been able to slide in and be like, hey, if you want to easily sell a webinar, it's not even selling courses. We sell to a webinar and then I do all the selling and they just push a link.
You're talking about selling courses. I want to pivot a little bit into something that you guys have tried to create, build, or sell that was an absolute disaster. And the reason why I like asking about this is it gives people listening hope, right? And I mean, I've had my fair of shit sandwiches. I'll share a couple of them. I know you guys have. What's a product that you guys were so excited about that you built and launched and it sucked? And what did you learn from it?
Okay, the first one I think about is it's such a fundamental lesson in entrepreneurship is like when you just want to like throw money at someone who's more certain than you about how you should grow your business. And I was really sold by this person who was super slick, sharing this vision of ads with me, even though ads never felt in alignment. I'm looking at Kat because like we've had so many conversations about like really listening to intuition, what's aligned, and talking me into building out a membership. In the online digital course industry, it's like, yeah, the idea of recurring revenue is super sexy. What it actually takes to build it up to that point and then maintain it, you have to think about like every month there's payments that aren't going through. So I realized really quickly that it wasn't what I wanted to do. And then I was in this contract. I think we ended up paying about $75,000 to this team over 2 years to build something out that I hated and I shut down.
Wow.
In year 3.
What's the lesson from that?
Trust my intuition.
Yeah.
And it was the best, you know, I think about this all the time. Would I have paid that, you know, $75,000 in a mastermind to get to the point in business where I really, really trust myself and I'm creating only things that are a win because my energy is like a hell yes behind them? I would have paid to be in that mastermind. So I think, you know, reframing it that it actually wasn't a failure at all. It was the best lesson I ever got. And now the things that I'm actually putting my energy into building are so much more profitable and they're so much more fun. And I'm not on Zoom all the time.
God,
that was like the biggest thing. I created something where I was on Zoom multiple times a week and I hated it.
It's the death of me. I'm slowly weaning my products off of Zoom and it's finally working a little bit. Thank the Lord. Worst product you ever built, and what'd you learn from it?
I blew it on some NFTs, guys. I really blew it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, baby. So many hits. So many hits.
Guys. It was so bad.
Lori asked me how much we lost on NFTs. You know, I like to go all in on things.
Yeah.
It's not quite $1 million, but just shy of $1 million. Mm-hmm. I'm not proud of that one.
Yeah, no.
Did the sock puppet come out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Another sock puppet fight.
It was, the lesson for me is it was a category I knew nothing about. And I had a friend who was like, yo, you have a huge audience. You got to do this NFT project. Here's this guy in Berlin. Oh, yeah. He's going to build them out for you. We're going to call him
It's always a guy
functions.
in Berlin, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It just happened.
Have your crypto coin. I know this guy in Berlin.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, great. Dropped like 50 grand to build this NFT project. And then literally, it was like when everything was going down with Ethereum and like all the like Bitcoin stuff crashing. And I was like, I'm not putting this out to my audience. Like I had this like integrity moment where I was like, hell fucking no. Because it was going to be something that was like, you buy the NFT and it comes with a course. Yep. So it was going to be more so like a mechanism. Mm-hmm. So like I wanted them to get something like tangible learning out of it beside a token. But yeah, that was, if I look back on my old business, like that was probably the moment where I was like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But
it's just a gold rush for a while.
Yeah. I could have had the what if moment if I didn't do it. Mm-hmm. And
NFT, I got two things to say about NFT technology, here to stay. NFTs as a pump and dump collectible, that was a phase. Then everybody saw an opportunity to get rich, and a lot of people participated.
Now.
Just like meme coins.
It's just Vegas. Like
there's
that's
always
something. Like it's fun to do. My little meme or my meme coin like purchasing app sits right next to my sports betting app in my phone because they're the same thing in my brain. Like, it is just gambling, and I cannot spend money in one of these two apps that I'm going to cry about when it definitely all goes away at the end of this. So,
did you have a takeaway, a lesson from that?
I mean, I think biggest takeaway was like stay in my lane, like stick with my zone of genius. Unless I'm super passionate about something else, then that's that. But I was not passionate about it. I did not know enough about it. I should not be teaching that or pushing that out.
Lindsey mentioned intuition. Did you have any intuition screaming at you while you were doing it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was after I signed the contract, obviously.
Of course.
And then I literally spent another 10 grand with lawyers trying to get out of that contract to do a different project with like other people. And it just,
You probably dodged a bullet because a lot of people have gotten sued hardcore from launching NFT as a project, and then they didn't deliver necessarily what they said it was going. And there's been a lot of behind the scenes SEC and FTC takedowns of some really big influencers that launched really big products. So probably dodged a bullet. What's your worst product, and what'd you learn?
Jesus. Well, first of all, there's like the Richest Man in Babylon book thing where it talks a whole lot about like, if somebody comes to you basically and says like, I'm going to use their money and I'm going to go off, and like from Berlin, a man from Berlin shows up in a boat and says, I'm going to be able to sail off with your money to this far off land and return to you with jewels. But you know nothing of jewels. You don't even know if that land has jewels, to be thoroughly honest. Like never put your money in those places. Buffett talked about that. Like Berkshire never invested in anything that they did not understand personally. You know, like you have to understand.
I'm so bad at that. I go for shiny things, man. It's like I can't resist it.
Oh, I do it, but it is sectioned off to like where my Vegas money sits in our family budget, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, this is like me and Faith, we're not going to fight if this goes wrong.
No sock puppet.
No sock puppet battle. None of that stuff. Like it is like, I don't even have to tell her like, oh, just lost a bunch of money on Trump coin, which I did actually. I got greedy and held on too long.
I'm dollar cost averaging my way down right now.
So, okay. I've got like Link Technology freaking failed on itself. That like small business computing company way back in the day. My transaction department, when I wanted to scale this like transaction coordinator service for real estate agents, like that failed miserably. Although those are like my only two like big visible ones, and they weren't even like that big or visible. If you ask my wife, like what you actually see behind closed doors is like 70 half-baked ideas a week that I start to put effort and energy to, and the wheels fall off the bus. And I've just learned well enough at this point. It's like when the wheels fall off the bus, we're done here.
Bail.
Bail, because it seems like everything else when the wheels stay on the bus, like the things that were meant to be, just kind of like. Granted, it is not without hard work. I haven't slept in freaking 6 months after launching Shiloh. Like doing 30 demos a week and being CEO of 2 companies. Like there's a lot of hard work in there. But the difference is that putting hard work into those things that seem aligned or whatever that is turns into like, oh, it's so crazy. The stories are like, then this door opened and then this door opened and then that door opened. So like for every one of those examples that people see in my life in like the public domain, there were like 70 ideas last week where the wheels fell off the bus, right? Mm-hmm. So it is this like game of averages a little bit and willingness to fail a little bit, you know?
You kept saying the word aligned. Aligned, ironically, is our worst product that we ever built and launched. You bought it. Thank you for being one of the few.
I'm a prophet.
So this is such an embarrassing story. This is how it happened. Yeah, this is how it happened. So
wait, what is aligned?
Exactly what was aligned. Like, trust me, it was a flash in the pan. So Lori got a call from Grant Cardone a few years ago that has this great big event called 10X.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, we're looking for some female speakers. We would love for you to come speak in front of the 10,000 entrepreneurs. And we sell entrepreneur products. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so honored. That'd be great. And he said, there's a catch. What's that? He goes, I assume you have $1,000 to $2,000 course, right? You have to pitch from stage and we get half. And so Lori, just thinking on her toes, she's like, yep, sure do. It's a great one. He's like, great, we'll get you booked. So she's excited. She just booked herself speaking in front of 10,000 entrepreneurs at this really big event. And she comes home, she's like, okay, I did a thing. I said yes to speaking at Grant's event, except there's a catch. I said, we have a course that's $1,000 to $2,000, and we didn't have one at the time at all, right? So she had the Bliss Habit. It was like a $149 course, but we didn't have anything that was $1,000. So I go, that's okay, babe. We'll build it. What do we want to build? I know, we'll call it aligned. And you get aligned in your finances, you get aligned in your relationships, you get aligned in your health, you get aligned in all these things, right? This is this all-encompassing life course. She got on stage. Guess how many out of 10,000 people, guess how many of these courses she sold?
0.
40.
50, 100?
3 courses. And we were so let down. And then we had to save this asset because a lot of money and time and production went into this thing, right? So we had how do we save this asset? We're just going to do a proper launch. And the launch was like way below our expectations. We did another one way below our expectations. And I kept asking you guys for your lesson out of this. The first lesson for us out of this, ironically, that we named it aligned, it was the most misaligned reason that we've ever launched something. Ever. It was the worst reason for ever doing it, right? It was just because on her toes, she said, yes, I've got one. And we thought it would be a money grab. Mm-hmm. So don't do things for a money grab.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't this the course also that the editing missed taking out the part where you dropped like a bunch of F-bombs?
So you guys, I throw something that Lori has awesome. Endearingly named.
Now I want to buy that course. Can I be number 5?
Well, we took care of it. So we did that launch, right? And I do something that Lori calls a Chris fit. And that is over small things. I used to lose my shit. I don't do it so bad. I'm like, fuck. Like bang the steering wheel, dumb things like that. Well, filming a course is hard. You guys have done it. You screw up your lines, and I'm doing it with Lori, and she does a great part, and then I screwed up, and we have to film all over again. Mm-hmm. So when I would screw up, I'd be like, fuck, right? And I'd throw a fit. And we told Jesse, our editor at the time, we're like, man, make sure you catch all those and get them out. And Jesse was kind of a half-ass employee. Shout out to Jesse, because now he's crushing it, so he doesn't mind me saying that. He does videos for like Will Smith and Tom Brady. And
he's doing okay now.
He's doing okay. Yeah. But he was a total half-ass, you slacker. Total half-ass back then, because he didn't want to be there. And he didn't catch one of them. And so we did our launch, and it wasn't a successful launch, but at least it went to a few hundred people. And 3-4 hours later, we got a message from someone that says, hey, I'm an overachiever. I'm already in chapter 3 or whatever. And you may want to check out chapter 3, module 4. Chris is screaming fuck and freaking out in the thing. And we're like, what? And it's like, no. And we looked, and sure enough, there's me just losing my absolute shit. It did not get edited out. And
like,
so
the universe is like, this is not aligned.
This is not aligned. It was screaming at me.
I'm going to kill it for you.
How not aligned it was. So we were so embarrassed. So we're like, get it down. So Nick takes it offline. We edit it back out. We get it back up. And only 2 people that we know of admitted seeing it. I'm sure maybe a few more
I never saw it.
And they were afraid to say it. So needless to say, a lot of lessons in
we have to make a meme out of that. We have to
bring back the footage.
We got to make a meme out of it.
We still have, there's so much footage. You guys probably have footage of me absolutely just losing my shit on stuff. I'm not encouraging a montage of this, but I'm sure that one could exist.
Could go viral.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I ask.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.